Buckinghamshire Station against Sydney Rowing Club Australia on the Buckinghamshire Station in that light blue.
Oh, here we go, locals, Upper Thames Rowing Club. Their boat house about halfway up the course. Sydney Rowing Club, absolutely not local, and they are steering right across towards Upper Thames right now.
Wow, that is a big move from the cocks. Sometimes I'm sure it probably wasn't the cocks' fault there. The stream, the wind, a slight different pressure in the boat can cause that to happen in these huge boats.
Yeah, there's just so much power going down, isn't there? So much power from these athletes. And wow, they are powered away from Sydney Rowing Club. That's a great start.
So that steaming has not put off Sydney, and they power out, exactly as Jack was saying, to a length down the island. You can't see the island. It's pretty much where the camera is now. But you will see it as we pan back further down the race, and I'll point it out. The crews go alongside that, so it's fairly quiet, and then it opens up into the rest of the river. And right now they've taken a length lead, which means their boat is another boat length ahead of the Upper Thames B crew.
Yeah, and that's, you know, you can see that Upper Thames B boat are still racing as hard as they can to be in this, but look, Sydney their blades are going in so well together. Now, Jess, you raced in the women's 8.
There's a great shot of the Temple Island right there. It's actually got a temple on it, so that's the island we keep talking to you about. And yes, Jack, I rode in the 8 a lot of times, quite a few times here as well. But what makes this so special, and we say it all week, and forgive me, but it's a one-on-one race. It's so much more intense than the 6-lane, multi-lane race we're used to in international level races.
Definitely, than that head-to-head aspect. There's much more nerves about it, aren't they? And when you sit there on the start line and the umpire's boat comes around, it's so eerie, it's so scary actually, and it kind of makes my hairs stand up on the back of my neck. But this is a great job still by Upper Thames. This is their second boat, so they have another boat, and actually Upper Thames women have loads of athletes here. They've done a great job. We saw them racing in the town earlier on today, but Sydney, it was worth the travel. If you're watching us from Sydney, Australia this afternoon for you, welcome. They put on a show, and they had a slight steering issue at the start, but they're too good. And look at this, they're moving away. See the bow of Laura Cypher, the 20-year-old swimming teacher at Newington College. She's doing the business here. Her and her crew look like they've got this race under control as they're moving through into the enclosures. And when that last shot showed the two crews, you could just see that the Sydney boats, and this shot here, you can see the Sydney blades are just going in slightly more synchronised, and it looks like they're just taking slightly longer strokes than the Upper Thames crew, who are still racing hard.
Nice spoon movement there, in and out. So we talk about it all morning, being clean. You're going to have a slight splash as you put that into the water. You want a V kind of splash to show the right kind of timing, but too much water and it's slowing you down.
Absolutely, you don't want to have any excess drag, but you just want to make sure you're putting your blade in at exactly the right spot, so you're taking the longest stroke you can, but not missing anything. And this shot here is fantastic. Look at that little splash as the Sydney Rowing Club blades go in. That's a masterclass, really, isn't it? Looks almost like a single scull. And
the synchronisation to be able to do that with all 8 rowers, that's what makes the 8 so special. You see as you pan back to Upper Thames B, putting in a really strong effort, but their oars, their white spoons going in and out of the water, are a little bit more scrappy than these light blue of Sydney. And it's that difference over this distance that can make the fastest crews win and the slower crews slower. And as they're coming up towards the progress board, it's all Sydney.
It is all Sydney, but you can still see the Upper Thames, the women from Upper Thames have not given up. They are really going to give it some all the way to the line, and I love that. Love that in front of the enclosures. You want to put on your best show.
It's a nice display of 8s rowing here. Drop it in. You still see the bounce in the water. It's always bouncy here. We're an open river. We can't close the river, so there's crews up and down the side of the river. And they hear that beep, knowing that means they're going on to another day at Henley Royal Regatta. Job done for the Sydney crew as they cross the line. And they wait for Upper Thames B to follow them. That's a win in the Wargrave Challenge Cup for Sydney Rowing Club Australia over Upper Thames Rowing Club B.